I don't know if you guys saw this or not, this cruise vehicle in San Francisco. Another problem in San Francisco, and if you'll notice at the end, even the county is now stepping in. So we have the mayor, we have the fire department, the police department, and now we have the county, but like wanting these things out of here. And I'm going to show you what happened because it's a super disturbing story. So you guys know I love autonomous. So here is where the failure is at currently.
Is this where it become entertaining?
Yeah, this is where you should be entertaining.
Learning more about the accident that left a woman pinned underneath a cruise robo-taxi in San Francisco. Here's how it went down. She was actually hit by another car with the human driver and then thrown into the path of the driverless car. NBC's Scott Budman saw the video and has the latest.
The cameras on board the cruise robo-taxi captured the accident. The company is not yet making that video public, but did show it to me earlier today. It's not easy to watch the pedestrian crossing the street, not in a crosswalk, though, and gets hit by a car being driven by a driver. The force of that accident sends the pedestrian into the next lane. That's where the cruise robo-taxi comes in. The robo-taxi does stop, but not before also hitting the pedestrian. Shortly after the accident, officers found the victim under a self-driving car. The person who triggered the accident had taken off.
911 dispatchers received a report of a person trapped under a vehicle at 5th and Market Streets. Rescuers arrived to find a person under the left rear axle of an autonomous vehicle that came to a stop.
They then went into rescue mode.
Rescuers were able to use the jaws of life and other rescue tools to pull the victim from underneath the vehicle.
First responders say she was rushed to SF General with multiple serious injuries. No word on her condition tonight, but the accident is once again raising questions, fair or otherwise, about the safety of driverless cars.
We saw what happened last night in San Francisco. That can't happen.
San Mateo Supervisor David Canepa, concerned about robo-taxis, says it's time to slow things down. His comments coming after robo-taxis got the green light to send cars to SFO.
What I'm saying is, if you have so many accidents in San Francisco, take a pause. They do this in tech all the time. They do this if there's bugs or if there's something that needs to be worked out.
In a statement, Cruise says the initial impact of the first car launched the pedestrian in front of the autonomous car. The AV then braked aggressively to minimize the impact. The driver of the other vehicle fled the scene. At the request of the police, the AV stayed in place. Cruise says their first concern is the well-being of the injured woman and say they're working with police to identify the responsible driver. Scott Budman, NBC, Bay Area News.
Okay. So the thing that you guys didn't see there is if you go and look up other stories of this, you'll see what the police had to and the fire department had to deal with when they got there, which was jacking the car up and using blocks because the car parked on her. So the cruise not only hit her that second time, it parked on top of her.
Now, was she like underneath the tires or underneath the
No.
actual? Okay.
She was but she was being.
But she was.
I mean,
she was.
Cruise
she was
has
stuck.
low clearance. Yeah.
Right. She was crushed. Basically,
She was crushed.
Yeah.
But can I play devil's advocate for half a second?
Please go.
I gotta see where this goes. I gotta see where this goes.
You're gonna defend autonomous here, okay?
I'm not defending autonomous vehicle, but technically, isn't it the person who did the hit and run that the story should be about? Because they hit the person and then fled the scene of the crime.
I mean, that's not.
Exactly.
I mean,
Well,
yes.
I'm just saying,
Yes,
like,
I'm not saying
we
it's
like
gonna-
skipped
yes.
over that whole entire part.
Okay, I
Like,
agree.
if
I
the
agree,
person
but
didn't do the
check
hit
this
and
out.
run, then the autonomous vehicle wouldn't have ran over the woman. So it started with the person who was actually in the car driving
While I
And
agree,
ran
though,
away.
while
and
I
ran
agree,
away.
why the LiDAR is about 200,000 now is what they cost. They don't work very well. But so if the person they said wasn't in the crosswalk and was just crossing, so Cruise recognizes crosswalks and all that, why didn't the LiDAR say there's a person in the road crossing before they were hit? I'm saying. Because it would have
Yeah,
seen
that
the
too,
LiDAR
huh?
should see it on anywhere above the car, whatever. It should see the person and it should just
But
stop
they weren't
because
in,
there's a
the
person
person wasn't
crossing
in her
illegally.
in that lane. The person was actually
Who cares what
in
lane they're in? There's a person.
So I
Stop.
think it was that's the problem, is that it did stop. That like that's I
Well,
think
it
that was the
ran him
problem.
over first.
But I
Well,
think-
it stopped
well,
No,
they're
it
before.
thrown
stopped
under
and
the
then
person.
ran him over. That's so horrible to say.
Oh, it's so bad. Because they
So
did say
bad.
that it was the force of the first car that hit her
Underneath
that
the car.
knocked her
Thank you,
into
Vinny.
the other car.
Yeah.
Yeah. and Again, you're right, Vinny. I mean, she did illegally cross the street. What I'm saying though is where is the
Pedestrians always have the right of way. Don't
where's
they?
this technology though? Because again, this thing should have just stopped. We're not talking about two drivers and who's responsible. We're talking about an autonomous vehicle, and this isn't its first offense. San
So-
Francisco wants them out.
So I think
They're-
the question is the physics of the matter is like, was the car going at say 40 miles per hour and the woman being thrown at it at 20 miles per hour, did it have enough space to stop? After
Well,
like
I'm gonna say what's
any
the
space.
lesser of the offenses, right? So you have the first person who hit the woman, she projectiled into the other lane, but then the first person fled the scene, but at the same God, this lady is really unlucky. She should not
Yeah.
play the lottery. And then
she basically she got
like,
hit
what
twice
are
and
the
then pinned.
chances? Like,
That's
what
that's
are the
like
chances
and
of
then
this
and
poor
then the
woman
fire
getting
department's
hit
using
twice?
wooden blocks to get that
Yeah.
car up.
To get the
I
car up.
mean, they literally were like, she was pinned.
she got to sue that company. I don't know how much for, but definitely.
Well, also,
a lawyer got to be there somewhere.
Also, don't we have the video? I mean, shouldn't that Cruise have the video of the car that did hit and run?
Oh, it said it does. Remember, the guy
Yes.
said he saw it. So they're probably
Right,
gonna
but I
run
mean,
that
like, it
person
should have the
down,
license
hopefully.
plate, the make, model, everything, because it records everything.
Right.
But you're saying she should sue the company for the
I'm
autonomous
saying
vehicle?
first, I'm saying I hope she lives.
Oh yeah.
God,
Yeah.
I hope
She
so.
can't sue
That's
anybody if she-
horrible.
I really hope so.
She was having a really bad day. That's the only thing I can say. Like,
Yeah, but see, Vinny, here's where I get weird with. This is my problem with full autonomous, no driver, safety driver, anything. It keeps getting pointed out and pointed out and pointed out by the cities it's active in that we're not there. We're not there. I've talked to technicians in the field. We're not there. I've had them on the podcast. We're not there. And yet they're running these things without humans. I mean, we've seen police officers walk. We've played these videos. Police officers walk up to them to try and stop it because it's not moving at a light. What does it do? The light's red. It sees the police officer comes up and it takes it as a threat and guns it through the intersection.
Who
If
trained
I
these
did that,
cars?
I'm going to jail.
yeah.
If Cruise does that, they just pay a fine.
Well, they have to have cameras because if these little robots on the street delivering food can tell who was trying to steal the bot for the police department, I'm sure that these cars have to have cameras on them.
Yeah, I mean, and this made me bring up a couple things. Like here, I took some screenshots because I wanted to show this. So I looked up in Canada if you guys even had it, Cheyenne, if you guys have anywhere that's doing autonomous, and I pulled up some things like, does Canada allow it? They allow level 3 for vehicles authorized for purchase or sale. Level 3 is not
What's level
anywhere
3?
near what we're testing on our people. You
What's
guys are
level 3?
Level
Yeah,
3
well-
is like assisted parking.
Okay,
Like
I was gonna say, like in our vehicle, we have assisted parking. We
Yeah.
have like the heads-up display. Like we
or
have
if like
the,
you
you know,
start
someone's
verging off the
there.
road, it can steer
Yeah,
you back. Yeah,
Exactly, like the lane departure and all that kind of stuff. We don't have any of like
yeah,
this.
right.
Yeah.
And so, our autonomous cars legal in Ontario. So, the manufacturer plates. This was a little strange to me. The M plates, are for testing, but I think that they still had to have a driver. Are any cars fully autonomous? I found this interesting. No car. No, this is from 2023. the article was, no vehicle can drive itself, but these come the closest.
Yeah.
So nope, that's not even Canada. That's just autonomous. So we're testing things we know don't work. Where are they tested? San Francisco, Austin, and Phoenix are the only cities where unmanned ones are tested. And then what is the Waymo controversy? Protesters stop Waymo and Cruise self-driving cars with only a traffic cone. Self-driving cars, I mean, look, if a traffic cone stops, there's so many issues with these things. But then here's the one I find the most interesting. So if you guys are curious,
Operational.
San Francisco, Phoenix, and Austin are all green. But look at all the purples. That's where there's a driver in the car, but they still are problematic to the T. So that's the map currently of where we're testing this stuff.
So one of the screenshots that you just showed was talking about the taxis are coming. So they'll actually have someone in the back, but no one in the driver's seat.
They have those in Phoenix already. I haven't taken them, but I think we watched it. Did we watch somebody that had one last week?
You mean an engineer for the company in the back seat, or
no, like a passenger?
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. So you do have driverless with the passenger. I'm wondering if maybe you guys are like, can you get one? Because I'm wondering if like you're still at the level like John for a while. Waymo only did it if you were part of Waymo's family. Is the best way I can put it. I don't really know how to say it. But like it wasn't available to everybody, but they were letting some people use it. They used their own lane leaving the airport. But again, John lives in Phoenix, and for years, ever since that accident years ago, there's been people with cinder blocks dropping them on these things from overpasses. I mean, people in Phoenix hate these things. You know, Pittsburgh kicked them out.
Too, apparently.
San Francisco's about to kick them out. The fire department's plowed a few in San Francisco. The fire chief, the police chief, the mayor all want the cars out. It was Governor Newsom that allowed it. And now they're saying, get them out of here. You know, because the other problem that's going on with Cruise is that they have certain routes in San Francisco that they have to take. So A to B isn't a 15-minute rideshare ride. It's like a 40-minute loop. And for a while, they were only letting a few do it. Now it only runs at night. And it's kind of a bar thing. And the new thing is having sex in them.
Well, yeah, because nobody's there to watch you, right?
Well, it's being videotaped.
I say, well, there's videos, so
mobile hotel.
That's true.
But it's
someone's getting a view.
that or drugs or something. I mean, like where is this technology? You can't,
that's so crazy.
To me, we're clearly experimenting in cities that pay enough or that are being paid enough money by these companies. The cities are willing to lose a certain percentage of their people. Or put them at risk. And that, in my mind, applies to the other drivers too. There's not a good mix of a human robot thing. And
I still don't understand how we're here, but yet when you look in a driver's manual, they tell you when you put your vehicle on cruise control, you still have to pay attention and you still have to steer, and you still it doesn't mean that you can't pay attention anymore. But yet we're going to have vehicles out there that have absolutely no driver in it. I don't know.
What we do, you guys don't, because you're smart. We do. we like our cities sell out. Like already they're working on where it'll go from San Francisco because they need that third city for whatever reason. So the new target town that's already made an agreement is Charlotte, North Carolina, which was on the other map I just showed as a purple one, but it's going to become a green one. So I don't know why, like as they keep failing more and more and more, we onboard more cities to test them in. Like, you guys
need to test more.
No, like I've said this for a while. Like, you know what? These companies have endless pockets. This technology is not ready. Build a city south of John in the desert. Just build a city where people aren't going to live.
I think it'd have to be north. I think you go too much south of me, you're in
wherever.
Country.
wherever. Yeah, you know what I
It would
mean. Though.
never work in
Just
New
find
Jersey or New
some
York.
big area, let them build a city, and let all the companies test there where people are not, and see how they integrate even together, because that's an issue too.
This would never work
Yeah.
in New Jersey or New York. We are just way too congested for something like this to
Definitely not.
happen.
I mean, I think when we first see it, I honestly believe that it will be their own lanes. I don't think they'll be able to. I think it'll be more like a train. It's not going to get you to where you need to be. It's going to get you close. Because I've even seen the cruise vehicle that the whole side door comes up and you're sitting like facing each other in it. And I'm thinking like that's going to be more like a train. It's just going to take you to here, and that's like your neighborhood.